God has plans to prosper you, give you hope and a future too. So let me remind you of what you have the power to do.
You've been on a journey, trying to find your way. Like the sun, you're rising, 'cause today's your day to unlock every gift inside. Let your potential flow. Don't let anybody kill your vibe. Time to bust up and show. Gotta keep on reaching, keep believing. Act like you know you can win. Live your dreams, reach your goals. Be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra. We've got wellness, church by phone. You don't even have to leave your home to be inspired. To rise a little higher with Cassandra. They said you'd never make it, but you're still here. Kept on pushing through all your doubts and fears. Never let a hater see you sweat. Remember who you are. When they go low, let them reap what they sow while you go far. Gotta keep on reaching, keep believing. Baby, shine like a star. You can win, live your dreams, reach your goals. Be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra. If you got haters, they gon' hate. Keep your head up and just be great. It's your season, your winning season with Cassandra. Rise up, time to get on your grind. Go after your dreams, no time to fall behind. Push till the end and never give in. It's your winning season, get ready to win. Keep moving forward and never look back. It's time to get motivated with Cassandra Mack. You can win, live your dreams, reach your goals. Be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra Mack. We've got wellness, church by phone. You don't even have to leave your home to be inspired. To rise a little higher with Cassandra Mack.
The more someone idolizes you, the harder they will kick you when you're down. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Let's get this channel to 100,000 subscribers. I know with your support, we can reach that goal. So many of you may have had a friend, family member, or someone who was pursuing you romantically, and they idolized you to the point where the flattery was extreme, the love bombing was extreme. They were overly complimentary, and you could do no wrong in their eyes, at least in the beginning of the relationship. Then you find yourself in a situation where maybe you're just going through a rough time. You are struggling in a particular area. You go through a negative experience that affects you negatively. And there's no grace for you. When you talk to that person to let them know how you're feeling, when you reach out for support, when you reach out for help, there's no grace for you. And this is someone that you have been there for time and time again. You have helped them immensely. You have really been a solid person in their life. And you might be scratching your head wondering, what happened? How did I go from the best thing since sliced bread to the worst possible human being on the planet? And you did nothing to them. You were simply going through a rough patch. Maybe you're going through a breakup and you are confiding in this person because you thought they were your friend. And you expected to get understanding and support as you cry on their shoulder because you're hurting, you're in pain, you're grieving the loss of the relationship. But instead, they use that opportunity to kick you when you're down, to kick you even harder when you're down. or maybe you didn't get the job, you didn't get a particular opportunity that you really had your heart set on. You confide in this person, and rather than encouraging you and letting you know that, hey, you can do something else, or whatever it is that they say to encourage you. They kick you when you're down. Well, you always thought you were better than everybody else, and now you see other people see it, and you're like, huh? Like, where is this coming from? You're blindsided. And here's where it's important to not be blindsided, because human nature is something that you can pretty much bank on. And the Bible has a lot to say about human nature. And the more that you dive into the scriptures, particularly the scriptures that speak about people and characteristics, right, and how people are, not too much surprises you, because you're already getting wisdom from up above. And see, the thing is, the more someone idolizes you, the harder they're going to kick you when you're down, for a number of reasons. When someone is idolizing you, right, they don't even see you as real. And so maybe you were that popular person in college. You were the popular person in high school. You took somebody under your wing. You were showing them the ropes, bringing them into the friend group. And they were kind of like a loner by themselves. And you brought them into the friend group. You just, you have a heart like that. And as soon as they got into the friend group, they turned all of your friends against you, telling lies, saying things that you didn't even say. And you are dumbfounded, like, how does the whole group turn against me? Because when you're an idol, you're not real. When you're an idol, you're not real. When people have you on a pedestal, you are not real. And it's very dangerous to form a friendship with someone who idolizes you. And although it can be flattering, right? It's very flattering when someone looks up to you in an exceeding way, but we got to be careful about flattery. The Bible has a lot to say about flattery, and I'm going to give you some scriptures in a moment, and I'm going to give you some scriptures on the necessity of not idolizing someone. And so think about celebrities, just to give you an example, and how so many people idolize and worship celebrities. And then when a celebrity makes one mistake, the same people that idolize them are the same people that are really going to town, going in on how stupid this celebrity was, and how deserving they are of this negative thing that has happened to them. And so it's important to understand that, because when people begin to pedestalize you, consuming every word you utter, what starts to happen is they imagine what it would be like to be you. And they have a built up perceived image of who they believe you are. Because when someone is idolizing you, particularly someone who is in your orbit watching you from afar, it could be someone that you work with, someone who you see out and about in social settings, someone in your neighborhood, and they're seeing you, and you make everything look seamless because you do what you do with confidence and with grace, and that person is idolizing you from afar. That's a very dangerous thing. You really don't want to become close friends with someone who idolizes you, because it's not going to be healthy. There are things about people that we may admire, right? And that's fine. There are things about other people that we like and we compliment, but there's a difference between liking something about someone and saying, I really like this quality about this person, or I really admire the way this person is able to handle this situation, and it is healthy and balanced, versus putting someone on a pedestal like they're not human. And that is where it gets tricky. And there's a world of difference between appreciating someone and pedestalizing them. That's what I'm getting at. And some of you are in friendships where someone has pedestalized you. And the more a person puts you on a pedestal, you can't stay on the pedestal. At some point, you were going to fall. And because extreme, excessive admiration has its roots in coveting, believe it or not, it is a matter of time before envy starts to rear its ugly head. And again, there's a difference between being inspired by someone's work, by the way someone carries themselves. There's a difference between inspiration and over admiration, where it is so excessive that it becomes pedestalation. So we got to be very mindful of that. See, because when you're putting someone on a pedestal, you think they're above you. Think about this. So the person doesn't even see you, even if they're not saying this to themselves. When a person puts you on a pedestal, they don't see themselves as equal to you. And if another human being doesn't see themselves as equal to you, meaning you're both flesh and blood human beings, you both put on your pants the same way, you both go to the bathroom. I mean, you do the things that humans do. And so if a person believes because you have more money than them, because you have more friends than them, because maybe you are more conventionally attractive, that you're better than them as a human being, that is a very dangerous friendship to cultivate. And there is a degree of not having self-worth when a person is putting you on a pedestal thinking that you're above them, right? Because nobody is above you and nobody is below you. We're all human beings and we all have different gifts. We all have different talents. We all may be at different places in our lives, economically, socially, educationally, but we are still all part of the human race. And when a person thinks that your life is absolutely flawless and perfect, it is very easy for them to think less of themselves in your presence and elevate you to a status that you can't maintain. It's not possible and it's not biblical. It's not godly. They're human and you're human just like them, overcoming problems and navigating this journey we call life. None of us have all the answers. None of us. See, there's a couple of things that makes this very dangerous, right? And then I want to give you a scripture. So let me give you the scripture that I'm going to go back to what makes this behavior dangerous and why you should not be surprised when someone has made you out to be the best thing since sliced bread. And the moment you don't do something for them, the moment you disappoint them, the moment you say something they don't like, the moment you're going through a hard time, the moment you are going through a season in your life where you're struggling, not only are they nowhere to be found, but if they do stick around, they're kicking you while you're down. They're pushing you to fall further and further, and they're relishing in your downfall. So Exodus chapter 20, verses 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to keep them together. Verses 3, 4, and 5 says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me." So I want to really highlight verse number 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. And so when somebody has pedestalized you, right, in a nutshell, they are bowing down to you. They are bowing down to you psychologically and spiritually. That's not healthy. That's not godly. You don't want to encourage that. And when you see that somebody has that obsessive quality, you want to begin to step back from that, because they're not supposed to bow down to you and serve you. We are to bow down to God and serve God. Then it says, "For I, the Lord God, am a jealous God." Jealous within this context, so we're clear, is the meaning of territorial. That we are God's property. We are God's possessions, right? We are God's workmanship. We are God's special treasure. He is the creator. We are the created being created by him. And so jealous in terms of territorial, we belong to God, right? We are peculiar people as believers belonging to God. And so if we're belonging to God, right, and we are only to worship God, and we are not to have no other gods except for God, right? As it says in verse 3, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." So if we are not to have other gods before God, and we're making another human being God by idolizing and pedestalizing them, this is problematic, because that other human being didn't create you. So you want to be mindful of that when you start to see that behavior, as flattering as it is not healthy. Here's the other piece about flattery. Let me give you a scripture. And this is Proverbs 29, verse 5. Proverbs 29, verse 5, right, says, a man who flatters his neighbor spreads a net for his feet. By man, it means mankind. So a person who flatters their neighbor spreads a net. So flattery is actually a trap. It is a net for your feet, meaning your steps. Your steps represent the choices that you make, how you move through the world. And so flattery is different from a sincere compliment, because a sincere compliment is genuine respect and appreciation that is verbalized. You're verbalizing your genuine appreciation of a particular person's quality or characteristic. That's genuine, that's real, and there's no ulterior motive attached to it. You just want to let them know that I like this thing about you. I respect this thing about you. I really enjoy the fact that you do X, Y, and Z. That's a genuine compliment. But flattery is not genuine. Flattery is insincere praise with a hidden agenda attached. It is insincere praise with ulterior motives. And so when a person is flattering you, right, it is not sincere. What they are trying to do is they are trying to get you to unguard your heart so that whatever agenda they have for you, whatever plan they have for you, it is easier to move forward in that agenda because your heart is not guarded. And the Bible tells us, above all else, guard your heart, for the issues of your life flow from it, right? So you got to guard your heart. But when a person is flattering you, right, what begins to happen is you start to unguard your heart because you're so caught up in the flattery, in the positive things that they're saying about you, that it fast forwards the vetting process. It fast forwards the getting to know you process where you don't really know this person's motives, right? So Proverbs 4:23 tells us to guard our heart. So now that we have the scriptures, let's look at why the pedalization of a person, the idolization of a person, just from a practical standpoint, is a very dangerous thing. And you don't want to build a close friendship with someone who's pedestalizing you. You don't want to be in a relationship with someone who puts you, I'm talking a romantic relationship, with someone who puts you on a pedestal as if you are not a human being. We're still human beings and we are all flawed. None of us are perfect, because when you do something that lets that person down, you're going to see the other side of them. Not only that, in a relationship, meaning a romantic relationship, when a person puts you on a pedestal, and this is going to be very hard to hear, when a person puts you on a pedestal to the point where they feel they can't live without you, and they're of the mindset that they can't live without you, the grave danger of that is they may also get in the mindset that they won't let you live without them. They can become so obsessive to the point where, if for whatever reason the relationship is not able to work out, that you really have some problems on your hands that you didn't anticipate. And so when you see that behavior, you got to be mindful, whether it's dating or whether it is a friendship. And so when we put someone on a pedestal, number one, we dehumanize them. We forget that we are all humans, even the best of the best, even the person who's the greatest athlete, the greatest singer, the greatest whatever it is. They go to the bathroom like everybody else. They eat their food like everybody else. It has to go down. It has to go in their mouth. They have to eat their food like everybody else. And so when you think about the basic things that we do in our day-to-day lives, brushing our teeth, taking showers, the basic things we do in our lives, they are human just like you, even if there are certain qualities that they have that bring them a lot of attention, or certain things that they do exceptionally well. Not only that, it puts tremendous pressure on the individual who's being pedestalized to behave in a way where they are maintaining this image of perfection. And we're not perfect. We all fall short of the glory. Humans are deeply flawed. And the Bible gives us many ways to grow. The Bible talks to us about growing in the fruit of the Spirit, right? The Bible talks to us about in your anger, do not sin. The Bible talks to us about taming the tongue. The Bible talks to us about listening more than we speak, right? And so the reason the Bible is telling us these things is so that we are developing our character as we take off the old man and we put on the new man day by day by day by day. And so you can be really great at something, but we still have struggles and issues like everybody else. Number two, when someone pedestalizes you, when they idolize you, it prevents the building of a healthy relationship. You cannot build a healthy relationship while being on a pedestal. It creates a very imbalanced power dynamic. You won't have a relationship based on equality. And so what happens is that the relationship becomes transactional. So when someone sees you solely from the viewpoint as their inspiration, as the image of what they want to be, right? This is very, very dangerous. And we can take inspiration from people, absolutely. But there's a difference between taking a little bit of inspiration from someone and you're still being your own person and trying to be a carbon copy of another human being. And so when a person's in that space with you, the relationship is transactional and they are looking to see what they can get from you, whether it is copying your style, copying the way you speak, whether it is trying to embody all of your qualities. And the only one we are to embody is Christ for the believer, right? And so we are to transform into the image of Christ. But when a person is trying to transform into the image of you, think about how psychologically dangerous that is. And so what begins to happen is this type of mindset blocks true connection. And it creates a feeling of inferiority. And there's going to come a time where they're going to hate you. And if you remember the movie, and I reference this movie quite often, for years I've been referencing this movie because it really drives the point home. If you remember the movie Single White Female starring Bridget Fonda. Bridget Fonda's character, she's this beautiful young woman, has a cute bob type of haircut, red hair. She's got her job and she's just doing her thing. She takes in this roommate and the roommate idolizes her. Now the roommate is attractive in her own right. But what begins to happen is that the roommate starts to covet Bridget Fonda's life. And it starts with her taking her clothes without her permission to dress like her. Then she goes to the same beauty salon. She has brown hair, dark brown hair. And she gets the same exact haircut, the same exact hair color, so that she can look like Bridget Fonda's character. And so we start to see the decline mentally of the roommate. And we begin to see how the roommate begins to try to sabotage Bridget Fonda's life. But it didn't start out that way. It started out with extreme flattery. Must be nice to be you. I don't want to be friends with nobody that feels it must be nice to be me. And so as you begin to see these behaviors, you want to distance yourself. And sometimes we don't act quickly enough at the first red flag. Third reason why it's so dangerous to maintain a friendship with someone who idolizes you is when a person idolizes you, they are on the road to envy, because when someone is idolizing another human being, what's happening is they envy certain qualities about you. And we already know that envy is a very dangerous thing. Now, this is what Proverbs 27, verse 4 says about envy. It says, wrath is cruel and anger is overwhelming, but who can stand before envy? Wrath is cruel and anger is overwhelming. Anger is outrageous, some variations say. But who is able to stand before envy? So look at the comparison here. Wrath is a cruel thing. Now, when a person's in a state of wrath, they are in a state of rage type of anger. And so we'll do some cruel things when we're in a fit of rage, right? Human beings are capable of doing cruel things when they are in the emotional space of rage. So as cruel as wrath is, right? And anger is outrageous, right? People have said and done the most outrageous things when they're angry. Think about somebody that you saw that crashed out and spazzed out and they were angry and they've done some outrageous things. So what the scripture is letting us know is, as cruel as wrath is and as outrageous as anger is, as overwhelming, because it can overwhelm us mentally and emotionally, baby, wrath and anger ain't got nothing on envy, because you can't even stand before envy. And so the reason you can't stand before that friend who puts you on a pedestal and they idolize you and you can't stand, right? Meaning that when you're going through a tough time, there's no footing for you in that relationship. They're actually kicking you when you're down. They're trying to sabotage you. They're trying to push you so you could fall. It's because you can't stand before envy. It's not possible. This is why I don't play with that spirit. And you hear me talk about this time and time again. I don't play with that spirit of envy. The minute I detect that, I'm out. And if I can't be out, then I'm very distant and guarded with that individual. And so you want to be very, very mindful of a person who idolizes you, because when a person idolizes you, it is a matter of time before they knock you down, put you down, and if you fall down, they're going to kick you when you're down. And so I hope you found this video helpful. Again, I can't say this enough. Everybody in the world is not a hater. There are wonderful, good-natured people in the world just like you. But we can't be naive. The Bible is very clear. The Bible tells us not to be ignorant of the enemy's devices. Otherwise, Satan gets an advantage. And so these videos are so that the body is not ignorant of the enemy's devices. And the enemy often comes in through other people. Sometimes he comes in through our own thoughts, our own emotion, the emotional space we're in, right? John 10:10 says the thief comes to steal, kill. Actually, it says the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. Christ comes so that we may have life and have life more abundantly. And so if the thief comes only, the only reason he comes is to steal, kill, and destroy. Oftentimes he'll use people to steal your identity. And I'm not talking about identity theft like taking your credit cards. I'm talking about steal your identity as far as when you think of the movie Single White Female, and she wanted to be Bridget Fonda's character. She wanted to be a carbon copy and embody her essence. Nobody can embody your essence. You're a one-of-a-kind, unique, one-of-a-kind soul. Even twins have their own unique DNA. And so when you are around someone who is open to the enemy, and they may not even realize that, their admiration and idolization of you have become so prevalent that they can't even think straight, because envy is blinding. Envy doesn't even allow you to appreciate your own unique gifts and qualities. So be very mindful of that person who uses excessive flattery. You can do nothing wrong. You are so perfect, because it's a matter of time. It's a matter of time before they flip that switch on you. So with that being said, again, have an amazing day. I want to tell you about some upcoming things we have. I would encourage you, if you are not a member of the Wednesday Wellness Club, you need to be a member. You're missing out. In these public videos, you get a fraction of the depth, width, and breadth of the teaching here. And if you want to dive deeper, if you want to have an opportunity for even Q&A, because that doesn't happen in the public videos, if you want to have an opportunity for that, I would encourage you to become a member of the Wednesday Wellness Club. So the Wednesday Wellness Club is one of the tiers of membership on this channel, where we have live conference calls the first and third Wednesday of every month. And we focus on mental self-care, emotional well-being, workplace well-being, and detecting deception and discernment through a biblical lens. And not only are you speaking to me live on the phone in a group setting, but you are also having the opportunity to hear from other members of the Wellness Club as they talk about the things that they're doing to maintain well-being, and even sharing some of their struggles. And so it lets us all know that we're not alone. It's interactive. And so I would encourage you to become a member at the Wellness Club tier. So you'll see a join button. You'll see a link in the video description box. When you click on the join button or the link, it's going to take you to my channel membership. Make sure you join at the correct tier because there are 4 tiers of membership. You want to join at the wellness tier. That's the only tier that gives you access to the wellness club if you join at the wellness tier or up. Some people join at the introductory tier and wonder why they can't access the wellness club. You need to join at the wellness tier to access the wellness club conference calls. We also have live streams in that tier. If you're a leader, we have a tier for leaders. It's called the Leader Circle. So if you are a leader, meaning you are an entrepreneur leading a business, you are in a leadership role at your job, maybe you're a supervisor or a manager, or you're an aspiring leader and you just want to begin to prepare yourself for leadership, then you might want to look into joining the Leader Circle tier of our membership. So I want to make sure you know about that. I also have an upcoming workshop the last Saturday in April. It's going to happen on Zoom. It's a ticketed event for anyone interested. The link is in the description box. And it's called How to Read the Room with Spiritual Accuracy and Acumen. If ever you walked in a room, and as soon as you walked in the room, you felt that the vibe changed. You felt that people were acting a little funny. You felt that something was off. And this can be in a social setting, in a work setting. This can even be in a family setting. And you almost felt like you were going into the lion's den, or you felt like you were about to be ambushed, or you felt like they were going to do a humiliation ritual on you, right? But now you're like a deer caught in headlights. How do you read the room with spiritual acumen and accuracy so that you never walk in another room unaware and unprepared again? That's what we're doing in this workshop coming up again last Saturday in April on Zoom. It is an on-camera event, so if you're camera shy, my workshops are not going to be for you because you have to be on camera to participate. So it won't be for you if you're camera shy. With this workshop also comes a workbook. So you'll get a workbook to be used during the workshop and to continue your growth in this area after the workshop with the actual action guide so that you can continue your growth in this area. It is so important to hone your discernment, right? And to know how to read the room. Knowing how to read the room really has to do with discernment, but it goes beyond discerning on a one-to-one level when we're discerning one-to-one interactions to discerning the group dynamics, to discerning the climate that you're in. So again, if you're interested, you'll see the link in the video description box where you can get your ticket, and I'll see you then. If not, continue to enjoy the public videos. So with that being said, have an awesome, awesome day. Let's do our best to be kind to one another. There are a lot of unkind, unhinged people in the world. We don't need to add to that dynamic. But at the same token, God bless you. Keep your eyes open. Have an awesome, amazing day. Talk to you soon.